Seminar is the heart of our educational model, our approach to education. The books that form our curriculum form our records of what we call the Great Conversation, which is the conversation of sort of all of mankind, of human thought, the greatest human thinkers, as they sort of talk to each other through their books.
We have this class called Humane Letters, which is a class where you sit in a rectangle and your peers are all around and sitting and you're talking directly to them. And there were just so many ideas going back and forth. And you just have a fruitful conversation.
As students, we're talking with each other about like a text or a poem. We're conversing amongst ourselves and the teacher is just kind of there arbitrating it. So they might pose a question, but we as students are the ones who are actually doing the work to find the answers.
So that's the separation between Western and modern idea of leisure.
Isn't hard work good, though? Haven't we taught you all to work hard?
I think that there are definitely schools of thought which attribute hard work to, there's a direct ratio of how good something is to how hard you work. But I think that in terms of an Aristotelian sense, he says on page 20, this is quoting Nicomachean Ethics, "We are unleisurely in order to have leisure." And so I think that the goodness that's associated with hard work is associated to be good because however hard we work allows for the participation in leisure, and that's sort of why we consider it good.
When you first doing it in 9th grade, it's more strict on how you talk to each other. It's more formal. Close to the senior year, you're really just friends trying to figure out what's going on in the text and to learn truth.
We have a leader, which is usually the teacher, and he starts off with a question, and then he lets the students start talking, and he guides their speech. If they start to answer the question in a direction he doesn't quite want them to go to, he's going to ask another question to direct them to where he wants them to go.
We know there's an active-passive difference or active-passive-receptive, right? All those words were used by Pieper. He threw out some of them, right? He's discarded some of them. But I think, Mr. Diaz, you read the quote where one is more active and one is more receptive. Does that help us figure out what the two are?
In all of our good classroom discussions, it actually happens that the teacher is almost like a peer amidst us. They sometimes propose questions, but oftentimes we have our own questions as well, and we come ready and hungry to learn. And so oftentimes we'll actually be debating with the teacher, and it's a really neat opportunity to be able to discuss things with somebody who knows the topic so well and is so well equipped to just guide you through that.
Typically we start with just the basics. We'll start with what actually happened in the reading, then from there we'll move on to why did this happen, then from there it goes to usually should it have happened a different way, and is it better to have happened this way than a different way, or what is the author trying to get across. That's typically how a seminar goes, and then there's always like side remarks about whether it should or should not have happened that way, and that's where the fun happens.
Tangents are so fruitful. They develop the best sort of answers in seminar because there's never always one exact right answer. Most of the time, the questions that we want to pursue are something that it's really difficult to do, especially by yourself, and so you need that community around you to help gain that knowledge.
I have found a lot of students, even the not extroverted ones, find joy in seminar. Some students like to learn by listening, and you can see that their books are like full of notes, and they understand the text in a different way than the ones who are really expressing it vocally. So I feel like there's room for everyone and all their learning styles to come together.
I think he's calling upon our modern society, or the ideals of our modern society, that leisure does not really have a place as we're constantly immersed in work. And he's taking it in the context of his society as a whole. It even relates to our current society, as we don't really think about leisure often. And he's taking subjection that we all go into the text thinking of because it's the topic of the discussion. And he's just addressing it first and foremost so that he can relate why we actually do need to have this discussion.
Once everybody gets involved and everybody starts putting in their ideas, asking questions, that's what really makes a great seminar.
Last year with Aristotle's Ethics, he's writing about the virtues and how man ought to live his life. hearing about courage or hearing about wisdom or all the other virtues. And so I think about that a lot. It's given me a good framework to kind of think about myself and my actions.
These seminars have definitely shaped the way that I think about life, myself, and how I understand myself as a person.
For Great Hearts and that seminar experience, I'm really grateful because I've been able to feel confident in myself and my opinions and put that on the table and dissect that with other people and have conversations, and communication is a skill I'm going to have to develop throughout my life.
And I think that that's what makes the seminar so beautiful is we're not just sitting down to get X, Y, and Z taught to us and we leave the room with that information. We're able to take the information and we still learn it really thoroughly, but we also get to guide the conversation in the directions that really interest us, which makes it for a really enjoyable class.
So I feel like that's what's consistent is the digging for the deeper meaning of the book and digging for the truth in every text that we read. And our teachers have done a really great job of gearing those questions and those conversations of what is this book trying to teach you and what can you get from your everyday book? Because either be from philosophy or a novel or just history, there's always something to learn.